Alright, so GTA Online's new DLC Arena War. I've been playing it for a while, I've been playing for a couple of hours, and I feel that I'm now at a point where I can give everyone an opinion on what I think about it and what my personal feelings are about the DLC. Now, personally, I think that the DLC is definitely one of the best DLCs there is in GTA Online when it comes to customization of cars, because these new vehicles, the amount of customization you can do with it is nothing short of insane. There's so much customization going on. I haven't really personally explored everything just yet, but I've seen plenty of examples where I'm like, what? There's a gigantic fist on a truck, and the list just doesn't end. But obviously, all this stuff is kind of, quote unquote, locked away behind like either having the trade price or the buy it now price. So personally, what I first of all wanted to do is I just wanted to play some of these game modes so I can unlock those trade prices. But as I was playing more and more, I figured out that in order to actually get those things, you just basically have to keep on playing, because it is randomized and you seem to be literally unlocking one item per time that you rank up, which but okay, I guess it is what it is. But that's kind of brings me to the thing that I personally am not really digging myself, but I feel like are like well made and are well done in many ways, which is the new game modes. The new game modes are, as a concept and as everything else, they're solid modes. They're good modes, and I feel like they're definitely worth playing. However, personally, I'm not really, it doesn't really grab me. And I don't know if that's necessarily something that is my personal issue with having played GTA Online as much as I have. And I'm still trying to figure out if this is like me personally and not really the game itself, because I don't know, like having played so much Red Dead Online as I have and like falling in love with that, and then going back to GTA Online, and it just didn't really grab me, if that makes sense. Like, it's not like, oh, whenever I'm at work or whatever, I'm not thinking like, oh man, I'm excited to see what this GTA Online new game mode is going to be, and this and that. I was like pretty excited about it, and curious to see what was going to happen. But I'd personally be much more excited right now for new game modes or new additions to Red Dead Online. And with GTA Online, like, these game modes are good game modes. Don't get me wrong. Like, if I'm looking at it objectively, I can assure you that these game modes are good game modes, and I think that they're definitely worth playing. You don't really need to have like the workshop for it, like I said before. So if you happen to still have GTA 5 installed on your PS4 or Xbox or whatever, give it a shot. It's definitely worth it playing. It can be a lot of fun. However, the current meta, and that's kind of also one of the reasons why I'm not really, have really fallen in love with it, is because the bike is basically the dominant vehicle to use, and if you use that, you're basically going to win everything. Last night, I decided to give it another shot with the game modes and start streaming it, but very quickly I realized that I was right about it, and that whoever uses the bike is simply going to win the round, because we ended up with two players who were on the bike, and they were battling each other out, going around in circles, trying to hit each other with miniguns that don't really seem to do a whole lot to bikes themselves. So you were kind of just stuck there, I guess, waiting until the timer runs out, or someone that happens to be me accidentally drives into the fire, loses the round, and you move on to the next one. And that's not really, something that I was personally enjoying. I personally would have loved it if the bike was simply not inside of there, because it's a much smaller thing, it's faster, and overall it's just much better to use than anything else out there. Like, I would love to just have like a variety of vehicles going on, like an Izzy, and then you have like the big truck, like having that going on. But that bike, it's kind of a repeat of what we also already have with all the other adversary modes. It's good. The idea is great, the concept is great, but there's this one tiny thing that ruins it for basically the entire game mode and brings out the entire balance that could have been there. I mean, obviously, there's a very simple solution to it: just don't use the bike. However, if you're trying to get all those sponsorship tiers, you obviously want to win, and the bike is obviously the best way to do that. Now, speaking of sponsorship tiers, it's a great idea. I think it definitely is one of the better things that I have seen in GTA Online. An additional thing to basically, quote unquote, grind for, a separate rank up system, which I think was, when I first saw it, that's cool. We get to start unlocking some things, and all that stuff is really nice, and I really enjoy the fact that they've done that. That way you are able to unlock discounts through playing, which is great, and those people who have much money can just simply buy it now. You're going to be paying like 50% more than if you were to unlock it, and it being randomized as well is something that I'm not, entirely happy about, like I said. And it gives something else to kind of, play, and it gives another incentive to actually play these new modes. Hopefully we're going to get even more modes inside of this. Maybe those will be a bit more something that I'm like more drawn into. But I personally would have loved it if there was just like a set like list of when you unlock something, and that you could see it like just in Red Dead Online, where you can see when you're going to unlock something. Because if you haven't played it, in Red Dead Online you literally have a sheet where you can see what you're going to unlock. You just click on the rank and you can see, oh hey, I'm gonna unlock this weapon, or hey, I'm gonna unlock this t-shirt, stuff like that. Unfortunately that's not in this DLC. I would have personally loved it to just have like a, tier 1 you unlock like, the boost, and tier 2, etc, that sort of thing. And it kind of leaves me with this DLC, for me personally, not really being something that, makes me want to go back to GTA Online and start playing it and start streaming it and stuff like that. It doesn't really, do it for me, if that makes sense. Like, I would have loved if this DLC was a bit more focused on like vehicles itself, and if the rank up system was designed in a way where you could actually rank up a bit quicker. Like, you can rank up pretty quick. However, the problem is that there are so many levels and there are so many tiny things to unlock that you kind of run into this thing, okay, I keep unlocking all these tiny things, but I don't really seem to be making any progress, because among those tiny things that you're unlocking are also the trade prices for, the bigger vehicles. Now, you can save yourself like 3.8 million or something if you decide to go for those trade prices and get lucky. And there's also some very unique and very cool rewards if you reach certain tiers. However, according to this tweet by GTA Series Videos, there's also this thing where as soon as you unlock the next reward for the tier for the Pegasus vehicle, the previous one disappears. So, like they say in the tweet, if you unlock the Dozer, the taxi disappears. Which doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, because I'm like, why would you go that route? But, I mean, why just not let us keep it? And having to go all the way to rank 1000 to get yourself a tractor, it kind of demotivates me to even try to bother to go for all this stuff and, screw it, I'll just splash the cash if I want to. But with that said, I do think that the modes are very solid. Whenever you're spectating, you're actually doing something useful for your team as well. You can decide to start using a drone or anything like that, and it does provide for some interesting support to your teammates. Like, for example, tag team, as lesser interesting it can be as a spectator to sit on the side and kind of try to help your teammate with a vehicle that isn't as fast. It can provide for some interesting moments too, and I think in that regard, it is, that sort of stuff is very interesting. You actually get to do something if you're taken out as well. You can decide to spin the wheel. Sure, it costs $5,000, but you can earn some additional AP as you're doing that. So there's a lot of things inside of the game modes that are very well thought out, and it's I want to say that there are good game modes, and it's definitely something worthwhile to play. But for some reason, these game modes are not really grabbing me, and I find it a shame too. Like, maybe it's because it's lacking some depth, or maybe there's something that I can't really put my finger on why exactly it's not grabbing me like other adversary modes usually do. Maybe I'm just kind of over GTA Online and, would rather be playing Red Dead Online. I don't know. But that's just kind of how I feel about the DLC right now. If you have a similar feeling or like a completely different feeling, let me know your thoughts about the DLC and all the good stuff in the comments down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and I'll see you all later.